Let's jump right into this explainer by validating a very specific, honestly exhausting feeling you might be dealing with right now. If you've ever spent, 3 solid hours researching which toaster to buy, or maybe you've laid awake at night completely analyzing a single throwaway sentence you said in a Tuesday morning meeting, you probably think there's something wrong with you. You might just assume you're naturally indecisive or maybe just overly anxious. But what we're going to explore today is going to completely reframe that for you. We're going to look at why your indecision is actually a byproduct of your incredibly high cognitive capacity and absolutely not a personal flaw.
So why do incredibly smart people struggle with such remarkably simple choices? It's kind of wild, right? You've got this powerhouse of a brain, capable of solving complex problems at work, managing difficult projects, and giving top-tier advice to your friends. Yet when it comes to picking a spot for dinner or choosing a software tool, you completely freeze. Well, it turns out that having a mind capable of seeing endless possibilities can actually stop you right in your tracks. Your intelligence isn't failing you at all. It's actually just working a little too hard.
First off, I want you to know you are far from alone in this. Psychological data actually shows that over 70% of adults report experiencing frequent overthinking. But it gets even more specific than that. Studies in personality and cognitive science reveal that this is especially prevalent among high-achieving professionals and knowledge workers. People with higher verbal intelligence and analytical reasoning, they are actually way more susceptible to worry and anxiety disorders. Think of your brain as a high-performance engine, and sometimes, it just gets stuck revving in neutral. To really get why this happens, we kind of have to look back at our evolutionary hardwiring. From a survival standpoint, anxiety and intelligence share a crucial mechanism, the ability to anticipate threats. If our caveman ancestors could detect patterns and plan accordingly, they survived the saber-toothed tiger. Simple as that. But in our modern world, this highly evolved pattern recognition easily turns into catastrophic pattern projection. Your intelligent mind is literally trained to model scenarios and evaluate variables. But when you're faced with an uncertain situation, like agonizing over a vaguely worded email from your boss, this evolutionary advantage goes into massive overdrive. Instead of just picking a path, your brain imagines multiple negative possibilities and immediately assumes the worst-case outcomes for everyday, totally low-stakes decisions. We commonly call this analysis paralysis, but honestly, instead of just thinking through a problem, it's like your brain gets stuck on a treadmill. And I want you to hear this loud and clear. Your brain isn't broken. Because you have the cognitive capacity to generate so many different possibilities and sustain these long, complex chains of thought, your brain just keeps running simulations without ever hitting the stop button. It's analyzing without any resolution, mostly because to your highly capable mind, the number of what-ifs feels completely unbounded and endless. There is a very real boundary between healthy, careful thinking and the absolute trap of overthinking. Careful thinking is solution-focused. It has a definitive endpoint and it moves you forward. Overthinking, on the flip side, is purely problem-focused, lacks any boundaries, and just loops endlessly. As a smart person, you're naturally great at thinking about your own thoughts. But when you cross that line into wondering, wait, why am I thinking this? Or what does this mean about me? You aren't trying to solve the original problem anymore. You're actually just thinking about your own thinking, spinning your wheels in the mud. And this mental loop, it doesn't just stay in your head. It absolutely spills over into your physical body. Decision-making isn't just happening up in your prefrontal cortex, it involves your entire nervous system. There's this concept known as the somatic marker hypothesis, which is really just a fancy way of saying that your body keeps score. Our emotions strongly influence our choices through physical feelings, like a knot in your stomach or that tight feeling in your chest. When you get stuck in one of these endless loops, it actually triggers your fight or flight response. Your heart races, you feel anxious, and suddenly these physical anxiety responses completely overwhelm your ability to choose logically. The mental exhaustion literally transforms into physical exhaustion. Which brings us to a somewhat harsh but honestly liberating truth: the myth of the perfect decision. A lot of us with analytical minds aren't actually trying to make a simple choice. We're trying to make an impossible, perfect one. We're constantly searching for a choice with absolutely no downside, zero risk, and a rock-solid guarantee that we won't experience failure or regret. But let's be real for a second. That choice simply does not exist. Every single choice closes one door and opens another. If you're holding out for the flawless option, you are going to be waiting forever. This leads us right into a really fascinating psychological concept regarding how we choose. It's the difference between maximizers and satisficers. Maximizers seek the absolute optimal choice. They do exhaustive research, they weigh literally every trade-off, and as a result, they experience a massive energy drain and ironically often regret their decisions anyway. On the other side of the coin, we have satisficers. Satisficers are looking for a solution that is simply good enough to meet their core criteria. They take efficient action, preserve their mental energy, and experience way less stress. Basically, maximizing drains your emotional resources while satisficing protects them. And spoiler alert, it is perfectly okay to just be a satisficer for most of your daily choices.
Okay, now we have to get really honest with ourselves. High achievers absolutely love control and precision, which naturally leads to a massive intolerance of uncertainty. When you are overthinking, reading review after review, gathering more and more data, it feels like you're being productive, doesn't it? It feels just like problem solving. But psychologists are quick to point out that this is actually an illusion of control. Overthinking is cognitive avoidance disguised as problem solving. You are using analysis to delay action because you are trying to avoid the deep discomfort of uncertainty. You're trying to eliminate uncertainty in situations where it simply cannot be eliminated.
There's this fantastic insight from confidence coach Sharif Colbert that hits the nail right on the head. He says, confidence comes after the decision, not before. Just let that sink in for a second. How many times have you said to yourself, well, once I feel confident, I'll make the choice? You're waiting for a feeling of absolute certainty that is never going to arrive while you're just standing still. Action is the exact thing that creates confidence. You cannot wait to feel ready. You have to decide first, and the confidence will naturally follow the momentum of your action.
So how do we actually break free from all of this? How do we short-circuit this exhausting mental loop? Well, here are 3 highly practical, super achievable steps you can start using today. Step 1, limit decision windows. Give yourself a strict deadline or a time limit for your research. When that timer goes off, you decide. Done. Step 2, shift to a solution focus. Instead of asking, what if everything goes wrong, ask yourself, what is the very next small step I can take right now? And step 3, take action to build confidence. Stop trying to think your way into a new behavior and start acting your way into a new way of thinking.
As we bring this explainer to a close, I want to leave you with some deeply reassuring truths to hold on to. We get so stuck because we treat literally every decision as if it's life-altering. But think about this. Most decisions are not permanent. They just aren't. Once you make a choice, you can almost always adjust it, correct it, or refine it as you go. The goal here isn't perfection. The goal is movement. Even if you make a quote-unquote bad decision, it almost always leads to incredible learning through trial and error. Bad decisions make for extremely good mistakes, just as long as you learn from them. So, I want to leave you with this final, truly empowering thought. Because the fear behind overthinking isn't actually about the decision itself. Not really. It's the fear of what comes after. It's a fundamental lack of trust in your future self. So instead of endlessly asking, what if I make the wrong choice, I want you to ask yourself this. What if you trust yourself to handle whatever happens next? You are intelligent, you are capable, and you are highly resourceful. You have handled literally 100% of the challenges life has thrown at you so far. Trust that incredible brain of yours to navigate the outcome, break the paralysis, and just make the choice.